everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to this continued conversation we're having this month about how to get your partner to want to have sex with you in these situations of desire mismatch, which is such a common problem. So I'm board certified Dr. Diane, known as the libido doc, because I blend medicine science with the sexy stuff. And one of the most important things, like I have said, to get people to get the other partner to have sex with you is one, to talk about it, but two, to begin to make it okay for them not to have sex with you. So you might be saying, like, Dr. Diane, that's like the whole point of this, is to get them to have sex with you. But here's the thing. So much time with desire discrepancy, we have a situation where one partner is feeling like let down because they're not getting their needs met. They want to connect. They want to have all this passion. And the other partner actually is suffering as well. So the partner that is not showing up to sex often finds themselves struggling internally with this almost like feeling of it being obligatory and this sense of, but I don't want to do something I don't want to do, and I'm not in the mood, and I'm too tired, and I'm all these things. So one of the things that I really encourage you to start with in this scenario is to not make anybody wrong. I think in this conversation, we get so lost in one person's wrong, another person's right, or both people are wrong, and there's so much shame that it gets really hard. And the fact is that that people do have different desires, and desires change as far as the amount throughout life. And so a really helpful thing could be, hey, in an ideal sense, in an ideal week, how many times do you want to have sex per week? And how many times does your partner want to have sex per week? And actually, have a conversation about it. See where you guys both are, and don't make anybody wrong. And then what I also find is helpful from here is to have a conversation around what sex provides. And oftentimes I find that the partner that does not have as strong of a desire, when they hear that, that for their partner, maybe it provides a sense of connection, maybe it provides a sense of well-being, maybe it provides a release, these sorts of things, then oftentimes the partner that doesn't want to have sex as much can see that and say, well, maybe I can't meet you at where you're at, but how else can we play? How else can we be intimate? How else can we share space? How else can we share touch in a way that's still going to help you get closer to those needs being met, at a way that's not going to make that other partner feel like the obligation, right? We want to get the obligation out of there because that's just not going to feel good to anybody. And then for the partner that has less desire, one of the things that I would encourage you to ask yourself and to talk to your partner about, that your answers to this question is, what sorts of things are important to you in the relationship? What sorts of things are you looking for in your connection? Like, do you want to feel heard? Do you want to feel cared for? Do you want to feel loved? Do you want to feel received? And what sorts of ways are going to help you get those things? Oftentimes, the reason why somebody's desire is low, there's a lot of reasons for it, but overwhelm is a huge thing, right? Overwhelm, the task list, the to-do list. But oftentimes, the person that has that lower desire still has that fundamental need for love and attention and care, right? Still has that need for touch and kindness. So what we're doing with this exercise is when we take that question for the person with low desire, and those questions is like, fundamentally, what would help you in our intimate relationship, our non-sexual intimate relationship, to make you feel loved, to make you feel care? What are you looking for from that standpoint? So if we ask that person those questions, and then the person that is a higher sex drive, if we ask them the questions such as, for you, like, what is the reason behind the sex drive? What does sex provide for you? What does it fulfill? Why does it feel so valuable? And we get to those fundamental reasons around, like, it just feels good. I love feeling good. I like, that it's relaxing. I feel relaxed with you. I feel connected to you. I feel a sense of ease. My stress goes away. I can take a break from my worries and just focus on my body, whatever it is. Oftentimes when we get to it, the fundamental answers are so similar so much of the time. So one of the things that I love about this exercise is a huge interest in mine is getting couples to feel and to come back to actually being on the same team. We're partners, we're back together. There's not this separation. We each are our own people, right? But we're approaching this conversation of this desire mismatch, not from a place of you versus me, but from a place of you and me. And so we come together and we come back on the same team. One of the ways we do this is to actually see that fundamentally, oftentimes we want very similar things. We want to feel relaxed. We want to feel loved. We want to feel connected. We would like to release the tension in our body, right? That fundamentally, there's a lot more similarities oftentimes in the whys behind I want lots of sex or I don't want as much sex. That the fundamentals of oftentimes what is driving these decisions are actually more similar than they are different. So that's really important. Now, beyond that, once you have these sorts of things, we want to then ask more about the how. Okay, well, how can we get those needs met? How can we help you feel connected? How can we help you feel fulfilled? How can we help you feel all of these things? And this can include sexually, it can include sensual intimacy, and so much more, right? So for many, many people, I find that, hey, if we have somebody with low desire, that they still might love to just have a lay there and breathe and just have a breast massage or a back massage, right? That just being touched and being held would provide so much for them. And oftentimes I find that when the nervous system relaxes for that individual that's not as interested, that they become more interested in time, and that gap still oftentimes is there and still takes continued conversation, that gap is narrowed. And then for the person that does want more sex, there is an awareness and acceptance of okay, well, sometimes not every single need gets to be met in this way, right? There is self-pleasure and other things. But an interesting thing that happens sometimes if we have one person wanting sex and another person not, is once there is that fundamental feeling of, wow, this would provide so much help, sometimes there can be, interest in other things, mutual masturbation, for example, and other ways of sharing intimacy that are still beautiful and still provides a lot of these things, and sometimes adds so much to the relationship without always having to be in a hetero relationship, that penetrative sex. So again, the fundamentals here are starting with those questions to understand what it really is providing and building from there. Okay, please do subscribe to this channel because this whole month is about what to do if your partner is not interested in sex and you are, and how to work with that desire discrepancy. I don't want you to miss any of it. I'm Dr. Diane. We'll see you soon.